Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids, and today we're doing a head-to-head video comparing this, which is the Gerber Principle, up against this, which is the Mora Companion. If you guys follow Gerber, you may have noticed over the last probably 3 or 4 years, they've made some serious efforts to make some shifts, particularly in their production. So they're still making stuff overseas in China, but they've shifted a lot of their production to the US, and this is one of those options. So this, again, is the Principle from Gerber. This is the black version. You could also get it in a coyote tan version. Scandi grind, it's going to be a bushcraft outdoor camping knife. I don't really think it's built to be a survival knife. Ultimately, it's just not big and strong enough. It's usually you want like a 5 or 6 inch, maybe even a little bit bigger as far as the blade for a survival knife. But as far as an outdoor knife, I think it's a good looking option. And as soon as I saw this, I thought, yeah, that's going to compare nicely to the Mora Companion. So both of them similar kind of overall look and function. You do have a Scandi grind on both. This is USA made. Obviously, Mora is from Sweden. And we're gonna compare the two and just see what we think about the different knives. Let's start off and talk about weight here. So for the Principle, you're looking at about 3.75 ounces and 2.71 for the Mora. Now, one thing that's interesting is that when you look at them side by side, you can definitely see that the Mora is a bigger overall knife. So you're gonna have more weight with the Principle, and you do definitely feel it. When you grab a hold of it, you can feel it's just got more. It's not heavy by any means, but it just has more weight to it than the Companion. So obviously what we're talking about is a full tang construction versus this does not have a full tang. So the metal is going to run from the blade and then down into the handle, but it's not going to go all the way to the end. So, you know, your overall build on something that's full tang is generally going to be stronger. Mora makes an excellent knife, so I don't think I would be overly concerned about, you know, this thing breaking on you. But you've got a little bit more weight in the Principle than compared to the Companion. Let's talk about the blades a little bit. Obviously very similar. You could see that where the angle starts for the Scandi grind on the Principle, it's going to be basically a bigger angle, or a longer angle, I guess I should say, than on the Mora. When it comes to the steel, you got 420 high carbon on the back. You can see that. Let me just bring that up to the camera so you can see it. 420 high carbon steel. You can also see it says made in the USA in Portland. This is a carbon steel Mora. They do have the stainless steel available as well. I just wanted to compare these two because I feel like they're similar. The spine on the Principle is definitely sharper than on the Mora. You can throw sparks with a fire steel off both of these, and I'll show you that in a minute. But you can also see the width, or I guess the depth of your blade when you put these side by side. The widest part of the blade down here at the bottom for the Mora is actually going to be smaller than the widest part for the Principle. So you do have a couple differences, and then again, obviously your overall length of the blade, you've got about an extra inch for the Mora compared to the Principle. Let me talk about the handles real quick. So both of them have like a rubberized texture. They're calling this a rubber overmold on the Principle. I would say that the general handle, the handles in general on Moras, they've got this kind of rubberized coating. They're very neutral. This one definitely has a bit more as far as angles. It's nothing really sharp, and because it's rubberized, it doesn't feel like it agitates your hand. But with those holes in there, you do have some lashing points. I don't really think that's a win for most knives. I would never lash a knife to a stick unless I really had to. It does add a little bit extra of kind of texture, so when you get your fingers into the holes, gives you a little bit more control. This one in hand does feel smaller, obviously, when I hold it, because the handle on this one's bigger. When I grab this one, my hand falls like that, and I've got, you know, my hand is kind of locked in up against that finger guard. For this one, it's locked in, but you can see it's coming off the end there. So just looking at the two side by side, you can see this one's definitely longer. They both feel fine in hand. When we actually put them through the paces, we'll actually feel what the difference is between the two knives. But you've got a difference in kind of the overall approach, I guess I would say, for how they looked at the handle, though they are both rubberized. All right, let's talk about sheaths real quick. First, the Mora has its basic plastic sheath, very sturdy, durable. It says made in Sweden on the back there. You got a loop. This little hole is so you can attach multiple Mora sheaths together. They can actually click together depending on the models that you get. It does have a drain hole on the bottom. It is solid. You have a little bit of movement. You could probably hear that. Not really side to side, but when you go like this, there's a little bit of shifting of the blade inside, but it locks in solidly, easy to take out. So that's a very basic but functional Mora sheath. Now I think the Gerber has more to offer when it comes to the sheath. So first of all, you have a similar plastic, nice looking sheath there. It does lock in nicely, and you have a little thumb ramp there to draw the knife out. You can see this section of the knife is going to lock in to that little circle right there. The Principle is going to have a little bit of a rattle as well. A little bit more than the Mora. It's just the sound of the blade moving within the sheath, kind of touching the two sides. The advantage that the Principle has is the mounting system. So I've set it up for a belt carry, so this just goes over your belt similar to the Mora. But you can see these two little tabs here. Basically, you release them and slide this this section out of the sheath right here, and now you can set it up for Scout style carry as well. So you can basically slide this in and you can mount this Scout style. You can also just leave it with nothing on it and just throw it into a pack. So I think as far as, you know, a multi-mount option, the Principle wins on that level. The overall build of the sheath is good. I would say it's a little bit better than the Mora. I would have liked to see them set it up similar to the Strong Arm, so you could put this in either way, and they've done that on like a Gerber Ghost Strike, I think, as well. But this only goes in one way. But still, I think the win goes to the Principle as far as the sheath. Here's a quick look at the sheaths. Here's the Principle. So like I said, you're gonna push off the thumb ramp to take that out, and then lock it in. And this thing, I mean, it'll move a little bit, but it's definitely, I have no concern about that falling off of my belt. And then the Mora over here, this is obviously backwards because it's on my left-hand side, but just to show you, taking the knife out, putting it back in, and similarly, this one feels a little bit more loose maybe, but just a tiny bit, not a big difference between the two sheaths as far as how they feel on your actual belt. Got a piece of maple here. Let's just start off with the Mora and see how it does. Obviously, this Scandi grind is great for all kinds of woodworking, and you can see it does a nice job on this piece of dead maple. Test the Principle now. As soon as I grab a hold of it, I feel like I gotta line my hand up properly so that I don't get a weird bunching of skin like up against one of the holes here. If you guys watch my videos, I tend to not test knives with gloves on, because most knives, when you have gloves on, it's just going to be more comfortable when you're doing a lot of carving and cutting. So just to be fair to both these knives, neither of these guys are going to get tested with gloves. I will tell you, my hand is initially here slightly more fatigued with the Principle. Try a different angle here. So some nice work from the Mora. Try the Principle here. As you can see, I'm definitely having more trouble getting those nice curls off the Principle. I want to be fair to it and give it some actual, you know, maybe a little bit more getting used to, since I'm much more familiar with the Mora. But it's cutting off those feathers, but it's really digging in. So, whereas with the Mora, just it feels more manageable. Let me get another stick here. So you can see the principle definitely still works. Just the the angle, it seems like, of the blade makes it more challenging because it digs in. I mean, it really digs in aggressively. So more of a steep angle makes it a little bit harder to manage, if you will. Now, I noted before that you can get a spark off both of these. You can get a spark off the spine of the Mora. It's just much harder, honestly. So even up at the tip, you can see we're getting little sparks back here. Better. But just to give you a sense, comparing it to the principle, and that's just notably better. So after further review, I would say you can get a spark off the Mora, the Companion, in carbon steel there. It's similar to like trying to use some certain like tops knives that you can get a spark like off the bob if you use it up towards the tip of the blade, or you get a really strong push at a really strong angle, as opposed to using the Chango notch on the Tops Brothers of Bushcraft. But like if you want to have something you can consistently count on for a throwing a spark with your fire steel, the principle definitely wins on that one. All right, so I just did some more carving, as you can see here. That little spear point, you know, if it was gonna be a tent stake or some sort of tool with the Mora, and then this one with the principle. This one's pointier. I just spent a little bit more time on it. Both of them were fine. What I can tell you is that my experience doing feather sticks has translated over to this type of carving and some other cuts I've done off camera, which is that they both do the job. At this point, I just find the principle less comfortable, honestly. So what I'm gonna do is do a bunch of work off camera and then, you know, give it some time. I don't want to just use the knife once and be done with it, but I'll come back at the end of this video and give you my thoughts. But I want you to stay tuned because my initial thoughts are that the Mora is just more comfortable and it does the same job as the principle, but maybe there'll be some benefits that I experience with the principle as I use it a little bit longer. So yeah, stay tuned. I mean, I'll be coming right back after this clip of the video because I'll have done stuff off camera for a while. But so far, the Mora, I would say, is the winner in this competition pretty handily. We're back and we're wrapping up comparing the Gerber Principle with the Mora Companion. I'm not sure if you can tell from looking at the blades. Yeah, I guess you can see it on camera there. I've definitely been working both these blades. This one seems to say cleaner for me for some reason, but anyhow, I was just carving some more feather sticks. Even right now, I've used these on and off camera. The main thing that's going to set these two things apart is that if you want the multi-mount sheath, then the Gerber obviously wins the day because you don't have that option for the Mora. The other thing that sets these things apart is going to be your price point. You're looking at probably less than 15 bucks to get this one, or right around 15. And at the time of this video, you're looking at close to 60 bucks for this. So if you're going to spend $60, why would you get this one? Well, because you want something USA made, because you like how compact it is. You want something full tang, and also you like the multi-mount sheath. I think that's going to win the day here. You can get basically, let's do the math, almost 4 of these for the price of this one. You can, if you like Mora, you can get the Kansbo or the Consbo, which is an awesome knife, one of my favorites from them. You can get the Garberg for not a whole lot more than you would pay for this, and that's a full tang knife. I mean, it's definitely a proven woods knife, survival bushcraft, just a lot of uses for that one. This is a good knife. It's all just about price point at the end of the day. Like if you're willing to spend 60 bucks and you think the advantage of 420 high carbon and the multi-mount sheath, you want something USA made, then go with this. For me, I think the Mora was more comfortable. It performed all the tasks just as well, and it's a quarter of the price. So the Mora definitely wins the day for me, and even like the Kansbo or the Garberg. If I was going to spend 60 bucks, I would absolutely get a Garberg over the Principle. I just think it offers so much more. Again, I'm not saying this is terrible, but just it's about value at that point. You know, how much are you paying versus what are you getting? Maybe for some people, they're like, I gotta have that coyote colored handle. then this is the one to go. Not this one, but the Coyote one, obviously. But for me, Mora wins the day. This knife specifically, the Companion in carbon steel, and then just Mora in general makes a great product. I do appreciate what Gerber is trying to do. I haven't tested out the vertebrae or the spine, but I think the spine, which has kind of a blockier, more neutral handle, the steel isn't as good. It's a maybe it's like a 7CR, 8CR, but anyhow, I think overall this one, the steel is better, and they're trying to do more than maybe with the spine, but I think the spine actually looks like it'd be more comfortable just because of that kind of chunky, even rounded handle. But like I said, end of the day for me, Mora wins. Good effort by Gerber, but Mora's hard to beat. Such a high value for what you're getting out of this product. So you've seen the video. Let me hear your thoughts on these knives and you know, how you thought they compared, and especially if you own either one of these, let's hear your thoughts as well. As we close out here, I want to mention that Gerber did send me the Principle for review, so I just think that's good for you guys to know. You know, they sent it to me. I think it's a good knife. I just think the Mora's still a better quality investment for you. So that being said, thanks for checking out this video. Let's hear your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. As always, if you haven't subscribed to Everyday Tactical Vids, please do so. Just click that little red subscribe button and then click the bell so you get notifications when we put out more videos. We're on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and Vero as well. And as always, more videos coming soon. Crazy bugs. Take care.